Are you addicted to alcohol? Because the truth is, most people are. In fact, I quit alcohol 2 years ago because I was just sick and tired of all the problems that came along with it. And I found out that I wasn't alone. All right. In fact, alcoholism is America's dirty little secret. Take a look.
The come down after I drank, because I was such a hardcore blackout drinker, was so painful, and that's why I always drank again. It kind of looked like this. Like, after I would have a weekend of drinking, Sunday I would have horrific anxiety. Monday I would have horrific anxiety. I mean, the anxiety would last more than a few days after my drinking. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So come Thursday, I would somewhat start feeling better that I would drink again, or I would still be having so much anxiety that I would drink again. This is not a way to live. I was so sick and tired of living this way.
Here are 5 signs you have a problem with alcohol. When you drink, you can't stop. You consistently think about alcohol, or you think about the weekend and when you're going to be able to drink again. You use alcohol as a way to de-stress and escape uncomfortable feelings or emotions inside of you. You orient your decision-making around whether alcohol is going to be at the party or at the social event or not. You feel like it would probably be really challenging to go to a social event and not drink.
Bing, bing, bing. He's talking about me. I was never the big closet drinker, but I was a big social drinker. Like, anytime I went to a party or event, I had to drink. And it often ended bad. Like me throwing up in places unexpectedly or passing out just as soon as I'm talking to a girl, really bad. But I used to drink because I needed it for liquid courage, right? Just to have the balls to talk to someone I didn't even know.
For anyone who doesn't follow me, I'm not completely sober, but I talk a lot in here about my relationship with alcohol, doing a 30-day reset. First off, there's that layer of short-term forgiveness. So your Sunday scaries, the 3-day hangover. Looking back, I wish I was more educated on how much alcohol affects your brain. And it's literally the chemicals in your brain from a hangover telling you all these things. My friends and I joke, and we'll say to each other, don't worry, you're a good person. But then also, if there's anything that's happening week after week after week, then talk about it with yourself and with others, and then move forward with that forgiveness and see how you can work on it.
Not the Sunday scaries. She actually reminds me of this time I went to a bar with my friends, coworkers actually. I got really drunk. I went to the bathroom because I feel oh man, I'm nauseous. I think I'm going to throw up. I go to the bathroom, throw up, went to the sink, washed out my mouth, went back outside. And then I seen a girl, she started talking to me, and we started making out. I feel bad for that girl because she had no idea I threw up, and I hope it didn't taste bad. Ugh.
What keeps people trapped in the cycle of drinking is getting sober and then thinking that because you've been sober 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, 3 years, 5 years, that look, you've gone all this time without alcohol, so you don't have a problem. So you could just have one. Come on, what's one gonna do? Right back in the vicious cycle.
I know exactly what he means. He's talking about people that have addictive personalities. Now, I never had addictive personality towards alcohol, but I did have friends that if they have one drink, they gotta have another. They gotta have another. My version of that is if I buy weed, right? If I smoke weed, I can only have a limited amount of weed on me at a time because I'll smoke all of it. I don't care if it's an ounce or 3 ounces or a quarter pound. If I have all that on me, I'm going to smoke all of it within a week. And so I used to have to buy just a little bit at a time because I knew no matter how much I bought, within a week it was going to be gone.
Part 1, fucked up things I thought as an alcohol addict. Oh, this is quite shameful to admit. Every time someone that I knew announced that they were getting married, and I knew I was probably going to get an invite to the wedding, rather than thinking, oh my God, I'm so happy for them, that's amazing, they're in love and they're getting married, I would actually think, fuck yes, free alcohol at the wedding.
I actually know a few people like her, okay? Now, girls that are alcoholics tend to be cool, but you can never call them alcoholics. It's like crossing the line. But what I experienced in college is a lot of women, in order for them to have sex, they needed to be drunk, right? I don't know if it's some kind of inhibition they had going on where they felt guilty about sleeping premarital, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of them had to be drunk to have sex. Now, I don't recommend people do this because that's going to give you a lot of issues about consent in the future. So don't sleep with drunk chicks.
If you have a loved one or a family member who is an alcoholic, remember these 3 things. Number 1, you are not responsible for their drinking. You can't control it. Their choices are their choices. Number 2 is you cannot change them. The only time that they're going to stop drinking is when they get to the point where they're willing to make the changes for themselves. And number 3 is to stop enabling them immediately. No more paying their rent, no more paying their bills, no more paying their car insurance. If they're going to drink and they're going to live a certain way, they need to be fully responsible for all these different areas in their life. You paying for their bills and taking away from their responsibility is just allowing them to drink more. The only thing that you can do is draw boundaries for yourself, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it.
If 2 drunk people meet and have drunk sex, how do you know who took advantage of who if neither one could offer responsible consent?
You don't know who took advantage of who.
So then who's typically blamed in that situation, the man or the woman?
Typically the man.
Because the perception is that the man is the one going after the woman when she's drunk. At least that's what society wants to portray it as.
Why are women typically held accountable when they drive drunk, but not when they have drunk sex?
They believe that women can't be predatory, I guess. I don't know.
For some reason, they think women don't have as much control over their emotions or their decisions. They kind of get a free pass in that stance.
Great question from the It's Complicated channel. And by the way, I disagree. If girls should be held accountable for drunk driving, they should be held accountable for drunk sex. You chose to be drunk. And most people they choose to have sex with are drunk too. So who is really responsible? But I'll tell you this. When I used to be drinking at pub parties and in clubs and stuff, I can't tell you how many times a girl would literally walk up to me and start making out with me. Like literally, wouldn't ask for consent, wouldn't even check the vibe. She'll like literally come up to me and be aggressive about it. Like grabbing dick, all types of shit. Now, I never complained about it, but technically, that's assault.
Many of us know that drinking alcohol lowers our inhibitions or increases our likelihood of taking risks, and the same can be true about sex. Drinking can decrease anxiety, decrease inhibitions, and increase our desire for sex. Now, in a consenting relationship, alcohol can be used as a tool to increase desire. 1 or 2 drinks is likely to lower anxiety and inhibitions enough to facilitate a connective experience.
So I had no idea about this until my book really got out there in the world, that people in our culture are really afraid to talk about alcohol. Alcoholism, that is. They're really confronted about it. And I'm learning more and more from people that come talk to me about my book and what it brings up for them. Even the word alcoholic, when I say hippie culture memoir about an unconventional alcoholic upbringing, brings up something for people.
America's alcohol problem is so bad. It's not even like an issue if you drink alcohol. Like being an alcoholic and taking over the top is only an issue when you drive or do something stupid like that, operate machinery, right? But it's looked at as a way to celebrate, right? Well, we just won a game. Let's celebrate. Let's go drinking. We just graduated college. Let's go drinking. Whatever we achieve, let's go drinking. Or we're having a holiday party. Let's go have the holiday party at a bar. The funny thing about all this in America is that every bar, for the most part, has a parking lot. That doesn't make any sense to me, because if you can't drink and drive, why can you drive to the bar?
Yesterday, I was having such a hard time dealing with thoughts about just like the guilt and the shame of my past self, like myself before I quit drinking. And these thoughts were eating me alive. Like I was in such a bad headspace like all day yesterday. So I decided to write some shit down. And I want to share it because maybe this will help somebody else. I said, I tell myself this story of my past self, that I was a monster and evil and crazy and chaotic and a mess. I was selfish and greedy, attention-seeking and ugly. While these things may be true, they are also not the only truth. I was also set up to fail and lost and broken and hurt and abandoned by the people who were supposed to love and care and protect me.
Boy, oh boy, did she strike a curve when she said love and protect. And when I watch these videos, I just think about all these bad stories and bad memories I have about drinking. Like I remember one time, me and my friends, we went to AC. And even though Atlantic City has a bunch of free drinks, we brought bottles with us to our hotel room. I mean, literally bottles on top of bottles and bottles, whatever. We get to the hotel room. I'm a lightweight. I've always been skinny my entire life. I'm kind of bigger now because I'm working out. But I take a few shots and I'm just smashed. But I wanted to take a little bit more just to make sure that I didn't have to really drink when I got on the dance floor or get to the casinos. Anyway, long story short, I took a seat because I was like, all right, I'm feeling it now. So I just sat down in the chair. Flash forward, I wake up the next morning in that exact same chair. I literally did not leave that chair. And my friends looked at me like, yo, this guy's just so drunk, let's just leave him here. So I missed the entire night out with my friends because I was way too drunk. And this is what happens. If you're blasted and wasted, your friends will abandon you. They will.
Dry January reflections, sex and alcohol. Sex and alcohol go together like two peas in a pod, inside a dumpster, caught on fire, overthrown a cliff, landing inside a volcano, and exploding. When I would be in my dating phase and I would like initiate a date, I would always say, let's go grab a couple of drinks. And alcohol has always been that entry to just loosen up and getting the conversation flow. However, at times, and I find myself accountable for this, the alcohol would really just leave people just kind of like letting the guard down, which initially that's what you want. But whenever you start to let your guard down, you let your values and morals just kind of go out the window at times. And especially for women, unfortunately, but sometimes men use this as a tactic to really try to get in your pants. The most interesting comment I've ever heard from a woman was like, when I see a man stumbling and belligerent and walking around and not knowing where he's at because he's drunk, that's the most unattractive thing a man can do, because a man is supposed to provide, protect, and really be within himself in order to be a safe position. But if he's drunk and belligerent, it's perhaps one of the most unattractive things. Sex and alcohol can lead to many unwanted pregnancies, STDs. You sleep around with people you don't want to sleep with, and it really tries to create this kind of gap of intimacy. The most authentic and genuine way to create intimacy is really just be fully present, and that's what alcohol-free in dating or in intimacy really is, because you're fully present with the person. You know they're there. You know that you feel safe. You know that you're going to be seen, heard, and just overall like taken in. So if you're doing the dry January and you're contemplating how sex and alcohol, man, some of my best moments in intimacy and being with the person was never with, it was involving not with alcohol.
All right, let's talk about guilt and shame. Okay, so we know that addicts and alcoholics do carry a lot of guilt and shame, especially when they're coming into recovery and they're sober and they're really recognizing the things that they've done in the past. I hold space for that. I have empathy for that. I understand that. I think it's a very difficult emotion to get through. But I kind of want to spin it for a second and focus more on the partners and spouses, because we have shame and guilt too in these relationships. We end up turning into people that we never thought that we would be. Our character starts changing, our self-esteem goes down, we start living through different values, we start tolerating, abusive behavior. And when you come on the other side of that, or when you're really starting to wake up, you realize, holy crap, I allowed that to happen when I said I never would allow that to happen. And you get a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that goes along with that, because your actions speak whenever they come out in a way that is very uncomfortable and different for you. Here's the thing though. We can't use the guilt and shame as an excuse to tiptoe around our emotions. We can't just shove it under the rug and say, oh, that's in the past. Yes, it is in the past. Things that were done, we didn't know any better, okay? And that is something that you can accept. But you can also make amends and hold yourself accountable and start changing. Use it as fuel instead of an excuse. I'm kind of going off right now on a little rant, because I truly believe that if we utilize these emotions in a healthier way, we can all be better. We can all do things that make us better people instead of using it to hold us back. They're very uncomfortable emotions, but if we're able to process through them and heal from them and actually make amends, holy crap, y'all. It's a whole other level of recovery. So you aren't your past. You're not the decisions that you've made, even as the partner, as the spouse. I made decisions that did not align with who I really was. And I look back on that and I'm like, how the hell did I do that? Why did I do that? I know why I did it, because I was lied to, manipulated. You know, there was gaslighting. There was a lot of shit that was going on in my relationship, and it was making me spin through a circle. That's how addiction affects all of us involved. But I'm utilizing that information that I have and educating myself to push forward and to do better. We just have to do better. It's okay to have those emotions and have space for them. It's okay. You're not those actions. But make the change now. Start healing.
How to cope with guilt after drinking. You did what you did, and that's all that you did, and how you think and feel and interpret that doesn't change anything. It is what it is, because it ain't what it ain't. Guilt doesn't make you a better person. Guilt is a reflection of you being a better person. If you didn't feel guilty, if you didn't have shame, if you didn't have pain for the things you did when you were drinking, there would be something out of place. But the point is that you're sitting here going, I feel horrible for what I did. I can't believe I did that to Cody. That was messed up. I was drinking. I did that to Star? The Tina? She didn't deserve that, dude. I was faded. I don't even remember. It's a problem if you don't care. People that don't grow don't care. Do it again. Will continue to apologize and never change their behavior. So the fact that you have any kind of guilt is the apology. We're done now. Does it hurt? Did it feel good? No. You felt what you needed to feel. You did what you needed to do. You've grown in the ways that you needed to so you could feel like crap so you never do it again. You're gonna do it again? Do we have to worry about you? Do we all have to sit here and go like, are they gonna feel guilty later? Is there gonna be shame later? Like they're gonna be upset with their behavior later? This is something that we have to worry about? It's been weeks, it's been days, it's been years. We still have to worry about them? That's the problem. But if we don't, dude, you did the work. Let's go. Let's take care of ourselves. We're done now.
All right, guys, that's my video. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. Also, I do a live stream on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a call-in show. You guys should call in and have the discussion with me, all right? Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys right over there. Talk to you soon.